Good morning, everybody. Hello. Hello. Oh, use camera, please. Oh, no. Hi, everyone. Hello. Hi. Welcome. I have a little bit of a delay on my end, so if you guys are commenting, just leave a comment. Good morning, Teresa. Hello. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you are in the area and where you're from, and I can give you all a shout out. But just know that there is a little bit of a delay between what I'm saying and what I'm seeing on the camera. So um, yeah, so if you comment and I delay, that's why. But good morning, everybody. Hello. We're here with our beautiful corn snake Zipper this morning. He is one of our snake ambassadors here at the center. We have Zipper and then we have Elvis. Um, and they are both very, very sweet. They are both pet trade snakes, so they both came to us as like owner surrenders. Good morning, Jacqueline. Hello. Um, and because of this, they are both very, very sweet, very gentle, and not releasable. So they were bred in captivity. They were bred to be pets, and so they're really not genetically similar anymore to their wild counterparts. They have um, a lot more trust in people. They've been bred to have very low like bite rates, things like that. So they are very different from the snakes that you would encounter in the wild, both in their behavior and in their genetics. They have evolved a little bit due to selective breeding for different traits. But Zipper here is our corn snake ambassador, and he is a beautiful boy. The corn snakes, good morning, Kim. Hello. The corn snakes are probably the most common species of pet trade snake that there is out there, and it's because of their relatively small size. They're not going to get, as giant as some other snake species. Um, and they also are very docile and manageable. So these guys will are very easily handleable. They very rarely bite. They are very calm. So for all of those reasons, they are very popular in the pet trade. We at the Center for Wildlife, as all of you know, only really take care of in our medical clinic native wild species. So a corn snake would not be a species that we would admit to our medical clinic. But they do have some native cousins. So they do have some cousins that live in Maine that we do see in our clinic often. So good morning, Deborah. Hello. Good morning, John Paul. Good morning, Lewis. Hello. Thank you guys so much for joining. Happy Labor Day weekend. I hope everybody is staying safe and having a good time. If anyone here has any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to, as always, answer any questions that you might have about the ambassador that we're talking about or about any of the work that we do here at the center. Happy to answer questions. If you just type them up in the comments, I'll definitely see them. And then, as always, there is a donate button on all of our videos, and that is really helpful. We are a nonprofit organization here at the Center for Wildlife, and we operate solely on donations and grants. So we're very extremely grateful to everyone for donating and for watching and for giving us your support that way. So thank you guys so much. We are here with Zipper this morning. For those of you who have tuned in recently, Zipper is our beautiful corn snake ambassador. Hi, Carolyn and Molly. Good morning. Zipper has been with us for probably somewhere around 15 years now. He's been with us for quite some time. And one of the benefits of having a snake's ambassador is that you are able to reach a lot of people and do a lot of education about snakes and how beneficial they are to us, to humans. A lot of folks really have a harder time with snakes. They are afraid of snakes. They think that snakes are mean or going to bite them or something like that. But snakes are actually really beneficial for our ecosystems and for humans especially. So having snakes on your property is certainly not anything to be afraid of in our neck of the woods. In Maine, where we are located, we're very lucky. We have zero um, poisonous or venomous snake species. So we are very lucky. All of the snakes that we have in Maine are constrictors. So they are snakes that will do this. They'll wrap around their prey and kind of choke them to kill them and eat them. So they are not venomous. They don't produce venom. They don't really strike to envenom anything. They're going to size up their prey before tagging them and then wrapping around them. So they are very much not a harm to humans. We don't need to worry too much about these guys. And most of the snakes that we see in our area are also pretty small, so they're not very large. There are some snake species that can get quite big and wide, but they're usually not very long. So in Maine we have 5 species of snakes, and they are all in this constrictor family. And some of them are cousins of the corn snake here. Zipper came to us as after he was surrendered by the parents of his owner. His owner went off to college, and the parents didn't want to take care of him anymore, so they surrendered him to us. And so he's kind of like a rescue, like you would find a rescue at a shelter. But he does a great job about teaching about snakes. So we're happy to have him with us. And many of our local snake species would not make very content ambassadors. They would be very high strung or very nervous about people. So one of the benefits of having a captive bred ambassador snake is that they're very calm and they're very easily handleable. So we're happy to have Zipper here. We have 5 species of snakes in Maine, like I mentioned, and they are, for the most part, the ones that we would see in our gardens or in our backyards are pretty small. So you would encounter garter snakes and little green snakes most of the time, and they're usually pretty small. We see these guys especially in the spring when they're emerging from underground where they've spent the winter. And the other snakes that we have in Maine are black racers. They're an endangered species of snake that is pretty close, a pretty close cousin to our corn snakes. Corn snakes are Thank you, Dad. Thanks so much for donating. You know it's good when your family is watching. Hello. So our corn snakes are a close cousin of those black racers. Sometimes those guys are called black rat snakes, and corn snakes are called red rat snakes. But corn snakes are generally found in a more southern area in the United States, so southeastern United States, and they are known for eating the mice and rodents that are attracted to grain stores around cornfields. So farmers will collect their grains in a silo, and that will attract small rodents to come and eat all of that grain. And so the corn snakes actually help the farmers to deal with those rodent problems. And your snakes in your backyard are doing the same thing. Teresa, I think his name was Zipper before he came to us. I think that was his name as when he was somebody's pet. So I do believe that was his name. But he is pretty speedy. He likes to zip around his enclosure. But I believe that he came with that name because he was somebody's pet for many years before coming to us. So that's a good question. So corn snakes are actually pretty beloved by the farmers that they cohabitate with, that they share space with, because they do help with a lot of vermin issues. They help with rodent issues in those silos. They're kind of like a natural pest control. And this is why we always mention to folks that if you have snakes in your backyard or if you have snakes in your garden, this probably means that you don't have as many mice living in your house, getting into your cabinets, spreading diseases. So they're actually really wonderful to have outside of your home, because that usually means that they're doing a good job of pest control. And that means you can put down fewer traps. You have to deal with that less. So good morning, Carrie. Hello. Isn't he so beautiful? So corn snakes, another reason that we think that people think they may be called corn snakes is because of this pattern on the ventral side of their body. That just means basically the underside. It kind of does look like native corn, so or maize. So if you were looking at the belly of a corn snake, you might think that that looked like corn. Or the other option is that they are that they are most often found in cornfields or grain fields. So, and as I said, they are a cousin of the black racer, who is an endangered species of snake, and they are found in Maine. I've seen one here. It was really amazing. So they are a very, very close cousin of these guys. It does look like he has a zipper going up his belly. That's a good point, Dad, too. That's a possibility. The other snake that we would have that we would see in Maine is a water snake, and these guys are notorious for spooking people in the water, and they are not poisonous. A lot of people know of water moccasins, but they do not live in Maine, and our water snakes are harmless and just have a tendency to spook people. So we are very lucky in Maine not to have any poison or venomous snakes that we have to worry about. In New Hampshire, there is a very small population of timber rattlesnakes that live up in the White Mountains, but they're very endangered, very rare. They're actually very seriously protected in New Hampshire because of their endangered status, and you would really have to be very either lucky or unlucky to encounter them. And usually with venomous snakes, the best rule of thumb is just to back away, to leave them on their own, and they're not going to have any interest in hurting people. So Teresa, he is not our only snake ambassador. We do have another snake ambassador named Elvis. He is our California king snake, so he has beautiful black and white stripes going down his body, and he is a wonderful guy. He's actually probably even older than Zipper. Most of these snakes in captivity can live into their 20s, up to maybe 30 years old. Snakes and reptiles do tend to have a longer lifespan for their size than you would expect, because they are a cold-blooded animal, so they are using less energy. Their cells turn over less. They can usually have pretty long lifespans because of this. So our corn snakes here can maybe live to be 25, 30 years old, and in captivity, that's usually a pretty good good lifespan for these guys. In the wild, they might live a little bit of a shorter lifespan, but they are incredibly long-lived for their size. And Zipper here is most likely around 19, 20 years old. He's been with us for the past 15 years, I want to say. Hi. And then our king snake Elvis is probably closer to 20, 21 years old, and that is incredible, because he is just a very sweet old man. He was recently diagnosed. I'm not sure if you guys have seen him lately, but he was recently diagnosed with soft tissue sarcoma. He has a lump on his neck, and this is a very common cancer that is seen within these types of snakes. The ones that are bred in captivity often will get this form of cancer. And so he has a tumor, and we're just monitoring it and seeing how he does. He just ate the other day, so he seems to be doing well, and he's active and getting around his enclosure just fine. So we're hopeful that he'll be comfortable for as long as we're lucky enough to have him. Carolyn and Molly would like to know how long Zipper is. So this is a really great question. Zipper is very long, but he doesn't look it when he's all curled up like this. He curls up all cute in his little ball shape, but then when you stretch him out, he is very long, and so he doesn't usually like to be completely stretched out. Most snakes like this don't enjoy that, because they feel more secure when they're wrapped up around something. So he actually is over 6 feet long when he is completely stretched out. And the way that we know this is that he will shed his skin every month or so in the summer months, and that shed is over 6 feet long. So we have one taped up in our medical clinic, and kids can come and kind of measure themselves against Zipper. It's really sweet. So Molly, you'll have to do that the next time you're here. How often do they eat? Asked David. So these guys will eat during the summer months. They'll eat pretty frequently. Zipper would eat every week, every other week, if given the opportunity. So we do feed him every week during the summer months. and then we will feed him less frequently as it gets colder. And during the winter, they actually kind of slow down and they don't eat at all. They actually get very uninterested in food. So we'll try to feed Zipper and he just won't be interested in it. And then they also, I think you're asking about the bones, so they can digest the bones that are within the prey that they're eating. So when they digest everything, it goes through a very long process of digestion. They usually take a while to fully digest their food, and those bones will be completely broken down by the time that they exit. So when they poop everything out, it's there's no bones in there. Teresa asked, do Elvis and Zipper live together or near each other? This is a really good question. Some snake species you can keep together. Zipper and Elvis do not live together because Elvis is called a king snake, and king snakes are called that because they are the king of the snakes. They are known to eat other species of snakes, and where they originally are from in California, they actually prey on other species of rattlesnakes. So king snakes, like Elvis, are actually able to withstand some of the venom that a rattlesnake might have in their glands, in their system when they eat them. It's really cool. And because king snakes are able to eat other species of reptiles, they actually are known to have the strongest constriction for their body size of any other species of constrictor snake. So they can squeeze harder than any other snake species because they're known to eat reptiles like snakes, and that will take a longer amount of time and a harder constriction to really to get to. So it's very cool. They don't live near each other. I don't think either of them are particularly interested in one another. They both love people. They both really like to interact with people. They are bred in captivity for the pet trade. They've been pets for their entire lives. So they are very much people oriented. Zipper especially loves to hang out with people. They also love our body heat, so they love to snuggle. They love to cuddle in our laps. So they're both more, I think, people oriented than snake oriented. Snakes generally are not incredibly social in the wild. Some snakes, like our garter snakes, will make big like breeding balls or frenzy of like a snake ball, if you've ever heard of those, in the springtime, but that's usually only in response to breeding season. Yeah, Teresa, absolutely. Good morning, Priscilla. Hi, Kara. Hello. Teresa asks if it is weird to feed a mouse to a snake. Absolutely. So it's not so weird for Elvis because he is a good boy and he does eat dead mice, and those are just kind of thawed from frozen, and that's what we feed to a lot of our other ambassadors here. So that's not so weird. We get pretty used to that here, feeding our ambassadors dead mice. But the good morning, Lori. Hello. But the corn snakes and Zipper, he does not like to eat dead mice. So we do have to go to Petco and buy a mouse once a week or every other week, depending on how he's feeling. And that can get pretty weird to watch, and it's not fun. But he is pretty good about killing them right away. He does a pretty good job of, making it quick. So it is odd. It is definitely something that you have to get used to, and it's not fun to watch. But Kara, I haven't yet. No. I think at this point, we're okay until he starts showing signs of like aging and not being able to catch that mouse as effectively. I think we'll keep going with the live because it is good for their brains, I think. But that is a really good trick, and Kara's just talking about using chicken broth to kind of entice snakes to eat their mice, to eat their dead mice. We have not tried it with him yet, though. I'm not sure if it would work. I'm not sure. I don't think it's a smell thing with him. I think it's more of a movement thing, but yeah. So Dad has asked, who else would eat Zipper in the wild? Zipper himself in the wild would probably not encounter the California king snakes because they don't really overlap in their ranges. These guys are southeastern United States, and those guys are western United States. But in the wild, these guys would be prey to hawks, to other species of raptors. They would also they might get hunted by any sort of fox or small mammal. So anybody that could catch these guys might be able to eat them. They are very speedy though. And they love to stay hidden in the rocks and things. That's a part of why they look the way that they do. Is this is all meant to camouflage in with leaf litter and rocks and all sorts of beautiful colorations. And in captivity, these guys have been kind of captively bred to have lots of different colorations that are possible. So you can see these guys in really light colors, really dark colors. They make kind of an albino version. They breed an albino version that's like purple almost, but they're very beautiful snakes. Good morning, Chuck. Hello from Rhode Island. Hi. Yeah, so these guys are very diverse in their coloration within the pet trade because they've just been able to select for different colors over years and years and years. And in the wild, this is the color that you would be most likely to see, this orange color, because this is kind of the natural color that they have evolved. And it blends in the best with the different things that are out there in the wild. Sometimes they do get confused with other species of snakes, with like copperheads or something like that. But they are, if you look at them, these spots on their back usually look like saddles or like time pieces or something, and that's usually an indication that you're dealing with a corn snake and not a copperhead. But sometimes they do get confused. Hi. And that's something that we deal with a lot here at the center, is just a lot of misinformation about snake species and about what snake species we have here and whether or not they're going to hurt you. So unfortunately, we do hear reports a lot of people harming snakes or killing snakes because they see them on their property. They're not necessarily doing anything bad, but they just think that it's a snake, I should get rid of it. And unfortunately, that just increases the likelihood that you're going to have a mouse problem. So definitely good to keep our snakes around, and especially in Maine and in the Northeast where we don't have to worry too much. Thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you for donating. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Especially up here in the Northeast where we don't have to worry too much about our venomous snakes. They are really not going to harm people. They are very much not interested in dealing with us. They are truly more afraid of us than we are of them, and that's something that you've probably heard before, but it's a cliche because it's true. And if you encounter a snake in the wild, the best thing to do is just leave them alone, because they truly just want to go about their day, go about their business. And 99%, truly, this is real, 99% of snake bites occur when you are trying to mess with or handle a snake. So just don't do that and you'll be safe from the snake. Do they live in areas where the ground freezes? So Dad, this is a really good question. They do not. So corn snakes are not known to live in areas where they would need to go underground during the winter. And this is why, we have Zipper here. We cannot release him into the wild. He would not have the right behaviors to burrow, to go underground, to survive the winters up here. So they are usually not found in areas where they do have to hibernate like that. In the areas that they are found in the southeastern United States, they don't have to necessarily worry about freezing temperatures too often. Maybe sometimes, very rarely, but not to any extent that these guys would have to evolve patterns of behavior. So our snakes that live up here in New England do absolutely have those behaviors, and so they will burrow underground. They'll go into old, fox dens or chipmunk holes, and if they find a chipmunk, then that's bonus. But they'll bury themselves underneath the ground, sometimes together, but usually not. And then they'll stay under there all winter long, and usually will not come up until it starts warming up in the spring. And actually, the snakes that we had in the medical clinic this spring came into us because they kind of woke up prematurely, and then it got really cold again, and they were still left out above the frost line, and folks found them and were worried about them and brought them to us. So that was pretty sweet. But they go underground into like fox dens, chipmunks holes below the frost line so that they don't freeze during the winter, because they are a cold-blooded animal. They don't have the ability to keep themselves warm. They are just whatever temperature it is around them. So right now he's a little bit chilly because it's like only not even 70 degrees out yet. So we'll go inside and get him under the lights. But he does love to absorb our body heat, so he'll snuggle up to us, and he loves doing that. Chuck asks, how long do they live? So Chuck, they can live into their 20s and up to like 30 in captivity. In the wild, obviously, that's much less. Getting up to 10, I think, would be a big ask for these guys. But in captivity, they can live quite long lives. Usually our reptiles will have longer lifespans for their body size if they're well taken care of, and their diet is good and their lighting is proper, all of those things. They will usually live longer in captivity, and these guys could live up to 30. So they are very, very long-lived, and he's also very long. He's about 6 feet long when he's all stressed out. Or stretched out. He doesn't like to be stretched out, so it would stress him out. But when they're all stretched out, they can get up to 6 feet long. You guys can see him exploring. He's using his tongue to sniff and kind of see what's going on around him. The tongue is how these guys use scent. So these guys will stick their tongue out, pick up particles in the air on their tongue, and then bring their tongue back into their mouths. And they have a little organ on the roof of their mouths that will analyze the scent particles from their tongue and tell them what's going on around them. So they can actually kind of taste the air to get a sense for who's around, what's around. That's how they scent their prey. They are known to be able to like track urine trails on rodents this way. So very cool. Very cool. So if you see Zipper's sticking his tongue out, that's why. If you guys have any other questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. Zipper loves hanging out, so we can hang out and answer all of your questions if you guys have any more. And then otherwise, we're going to go feed everybody breakfast. I'm sure you guys all heard Bertram the whole time we were doing this, yelling about how he hasn't had his breakfast yet. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions about Zipper, I'm happy to answer them. Our snakes are fascinating, and we love teaching with them because they're so misunderstood, and people really malign these species, but they're incredibly important and beneficial to have around us. And we love being able to share our snake ambassadors. So thank you guys so much. And we will see you again tomorrow with another one of our ambassador friends. Nice job. Are you ready? Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great, wonderful rest of your Sunday and your Labor Day weekend, and be safe.